Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the PWG review of The Speed of Sound. Now, before we get on the way, I just want to say that, I've been doing a lot of PWG stuff lately, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Ring of Honor's kind of had a break with Death Before Dishonored 7. That was the last show that I have from them, and it's been almost 2 months since that show came out. And I just think PWG is doing a great job this year. They've been presenting a lot of fresh, interesting matchups that are very appealing to me. I just think their shows, from top to bottom, just look excellent to me. And they've been delivering, so that's why I've been supporting them. And definitely think you need to check out some of these shows. Now, the Speed of Sound, I'm not going to say the Speed of Sound is as good as some of the other shows. This show, I think, is a very good show. I just don't think it's on the same level as Three Men Is Two or PWG 99 or what's some of the other shows? DDT4. It was kind of, some of the matches disappointed me. Some of the matches did deliver up to expectations. But let's get right down to it. The first match was the Cutler brothers versus Brandon Gatson and Johnny Goodtime. I'm not going to say the same thing that I've been saying for every single PWG opener. Like, it was a nice spot fest, crowd was really into it. Here it's kind of took me a while to get into the match. Like the first half of the match, I couldn't get into it, but eventually there was a lot of good spots. I wouldn't necessarily call this a spot fest. They did a lot of good things out there, and it was an okay opener. I'll say that. I believe Brandon Gatson will actually be in the Battle of Los Angeles coming up this month, so watch out for him. Next match, we get a four-way match. We get Shane Haste versus Human Tornado versus Charles Mercury versus Jermome LTP Robinson. This is actually better than the opener. It was a pretty fun match. This gave us a chance to see some of the up-and-coming guys. I think Jermome LTP Robinson is actually going to be in the Battle of Los Angeles. Obviously, Human Tornado did a lot of fun stuff. The crowd was popping for everything he did. So yeah, this is another. This is a pretty exciting match. A lot of innovative stuff from LTP in this. All right, so next up we get Colt Cabana versus Scott Lost. I thought this is pretty good. I want to follow up on some of the Colt Cabana comedy stuff that I've said in the past. I think Colt Cabana is in a really enviable position right now. He has a lot to prove, actually. I think it's a big challenge for him to try to get back to the WWE, and I definitely think he does need to reinvent himself. And at the same time, he still has a lot of goals to accomplish. Like, he could become the PWG champion. I don't think he's ever done that, and he's never been the Ring of Honor champion. So, I think he does. He's got a big opportunity ahead of him, and I just think he needs to reinvent himself into something. And I think a heel turn could actually work. But he's got his challenge is to make people hate him. But I just don't know if that's going to happen. But I definitely think he needs to reinvent himself so we could take him, so he could be, so people could just take him more serious. But for this match, him and Scott Lost had a lot of chemistry. I thought it was okay. Colt did some really cool stuff in here. There was a lot of good maneuvers that he pulled off. Scott Lost, I don't know. Scott Lost didn't look amazing here, but he ended up getting the win, and the finish kind of came off a little awkward. But this is good enough, though. Next up, we get El Generico versus Chuck Taylor. This is a Reseda street fight. And this is one of the big feuds that PWG has had in 2009 so far. They've been building this up. You've probably seen you can actually see on some of the PWG video wires or whatever they do. They definitely had a nice little build up to it, a lot. And you really can't say that for a lot of other PWG matches. But this is pretty crazy. They usually don't get hardcore like this. They were kind of brawling all over that little arena that they have. And El Generico did some really cool things. He did like a DDT. He used the wall for leverage, and then he did a DDT to Chuck Taylor. They brought up the garbage can. Generico put the garbage can over Chuck Taylor, and Generico did the Yakuza kick. It's a lot of fun stuff here. Then they brought out the table. And Chuck Taylor actually ended up getting the win, a very big win for him. This came off really well. This is definitely 3 3/4 stars. Excellent match. Uh, Actually, the match that went before this, I forgot to talk about it, was the Young Bucks versus the Dynasty of Karl Anderson and Joey Ryan. Another match where the Young Bucks just got really, uh, they just got booed the shit out of. Like I said, they've been champion for so long, and the other thing is that they were kind of doing the same things that they always did. Maybe the Young Bucks could seem repetitive after a while. They were chanting same old shit, same old shit. The same chance we've seen Cena get, and the same chance we've seen Austin Aries get from time to time. So that was interesting to see. The Young Bucks, but you got to give them the credit here. I haven't seen a match from them this year that was probably under the 3.5-star level. I think everything I've seen from them was at least 3.5 stars, or 3 3/4 stars. This is another 3 3/4 star match, actually. I thought it was excellent. Karl Anderson looked very good here. He did some really cool things. He actually did a DDT on the ring apron out right outside the ropes. That was pretty brutal. And yeah, the Young Bucks look great. There's a lot of good near falls here, like a ton of really close near falls. Um, Great stuff. Joey Ryan was really over in this match, and I thought this came off pretty well, actually, um, as you would expect from the Young Bucks. All right, so the next match after this was actually El Generico and Chuck Taylor, but I already talked about that. But after that was Bryan Danielson versus Brian Kendrick, a.k.a. Spanky. This is actually Brian Kendrick's first, I believe it's his first big independent show since he was fired from the WWE. Um, and I have to say, I was kind of disappointed in this. I had high expectations for it. Maybe that's what hurt the match for me. I was expecting like a 4.5-star match for some reason. I don't know why. Uh, but yeah, it was still pretty good. I think the thing about this is, I think Brian Kendrick is still getting accustomed to coming back to the independent wrestling scene. Obviously, it's a big jump, to go from wrestling to WWE style, not really wrestling in that long of matches, to wrestling Bryan Danielson in a long 20-minute independent, hard-hitting style of a match. I think it's a big adjustment, especially when you haven't done it for a while. I think Brian Kendrick looked pretty good here. It wasn't awful. The finish was terrible. I just did not like the finish. Uh, yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in here, as you would expect. A lot of great chain wrestling, a lot of great counters to the Academy mutilation from Kendrick. Um, a lot of great drop kicks, a lot of athleticism. This came off pretty well. It was still a solid 3.5-star match. I don't know why I was expecting like a 4.5-star epic match from these guys, but yeah, just take it for what it's worth. Don't expect anything amazing here, and you'll probably enjoy it more than I did. I just did not like the finish, though. Um, all right, next up we get Chris Hero versus Roderick Strong. Another matchup that's just really, Ring of Honor has done this in the past, but I think they could have done a lot more with it. They had a match at Battle for Supremacy, which I thought was very good. I think this was even better than that. So this is probably the best match that Hero and Roderick Strong have had, and I think these guys could do a lot more in the future as well. Two guys that are really on fire right now in Ring of Honor and just on the independent scene right now. Obviously, Hero was the champion going into this. Him and Strong didn't do anything spectacular. They didn't do anything that you haven't seen. They just went really hard. They went really hard for about maybe 25 minutes, I'd say. Um, a lot of the same old stuff from both guys, but it was nicely executed, and we just got a lot of fighting spirit, a lot of hard-hitting stuff, and this came off really, really good. Um, really stiff stuff. So overall, I'll probably give it maybe a solid 4 stars. Um, Hero had a lot more of the crowd on his side, and after the match was over, he cut a promo on Bryan Danielson. So the next show is actually going to be Chris Hero versus Bryan Danielson for the PWG title. So the speed of sound, I'd probably give it an 8.0, a solid 8. Another great show from PWG. I'm just not saying it's as good as their other shows. So that's the verdict on that. Um, so check it out. All right.